Welcome to the Vergecast for the week of February 12th, 2012, I'm told.
Is it the Sunday or the Monday?
I go with Monday. I'm a Monday.
It's the 13th.
Oh, yeah. That's not cool. It's the week of the 13th, February 13th.
Well, it's not Friday the 13th.
2012. It's not. That's true.
okay.
Anyhow, I'm Josh Topolsky.
You sound like you're talking to you sound like Julian Casablanca.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Last night.
Yeah. No, you totally sound exactly like that.
She said.
If
Oh,
you
yeah,
just-
you're right. It just totally blown out. That's great. Can you just leave it on like this? I'll just do all of the Strokes catalog. Is that cool? Oh, baby, don't feel that.
They don't understand.
What was
Too much
that?
between. I don't know. I just
what
I went for
was
twang.
that?
Hold on.
That's
Can I introduce the show?
Maybe.
This is the
don't know.
Vergecast. I'm Josh Topolsky, joined as always by
Nilay Patel.
Nilay Patel and
What's up? I'm Paul Miller.
Paul Miller. This is actually Paul and Ross Miller, no relation.
None.
They just happen to have the second most common name in the world,
No.
after Smith. After Topolsky, the first most common name. Anyhow, Nilay is actually en route, but we had planned on having Ross pop onto the. Oh, by the way, this is the Vergecast where we discuss the week in consumer electronics, technology culture, and culture. We were Nilay's on his way, but we were going to have Ross pop onto the Vergecast, the podcast, and talk to us about the PS Vita, the PlayStation Vita, which we reviewed this week. We re-reviewed the U.S. version. We actually had already reviewed the Japanese version. And I did a review for the Washington Post. Ross and the Vox Games crew did a bunch of stuff for the site.
Right. And what did you think of it?
So so first off, I think that I've been ruined when I hold a game system in my hand now. I wanted to touch the screen a lot more than I was able to in games. Like when I was shooting the people in Uncharted, I wanted to target them by like touching on them, which would have made it a lot easier to shoot people. So maybe I've just gotten lazy.
Is there some of that?
There's some stuff with like the back thing, which I actually think the back thing is super annoying and not
It
useful
does
at
not
all.
work well
Like
at all.
I don't know what the point was. Okay, so but the long and short of it is, if I'm sitting down at home to play a game, I'm gonna play a console game, and if I'm out, there's no way I'm bringing this with me. Like, I'm satisfied with the gaming experiences I have on my phone at this point. Like, I feel like I'm entertained enough with them that I don't need to be, like, immersed in gaming the way that this can immerse you.
Right. And I had the exact same argument with Sean Holster, a West Coast editor, who loves the Vita. And I think it's a great piece of hardware, but you're exactly right. The market for it has narrowed.
I just think it's an enthusiast device. And that's fine, but I don't have enough time in my schedule to game. Like, as it is. Like, I don't have enough time to play the things I really want to play. Like, I never finished Fallout New Vegas, and there's a bunch of games I want.
You really can't just finish with Fallout games.
Well, I
It's a
finished
Bethesda
Fallout.
game.
I finished Fallout 3 like a lot. I mean, I really went to town on it.
You finished it a lot.
Yeah, well, because you could finish it, and then there's finishing it, and then there's finishing.
Yeah. I know.
But there's like games like I wanted to play the second. I actually really want to get the second expansion for Alan Wake, which is supposed to be good. But there's a new one coming that's supposed to be amazing.
Right.
But I was talking to Chris Graham from Vox Games, and he was saying like, "Oh, you got to get the second one." Anyhow, long and short is, I want to play more console games, but I don't have enough time. I definitely don't have it. Go ahead.
What if you had like a train commute? Like every day you had to spend an hour on a train each way.
I think if I were on, what kind of train is it? Like,
It's a Long Island Railroad.
A fold?
It's one without 3G. You can't get any connection.
I mean, I guess I would consider it, for sure. I mean, it's an amazing portable game system, like the best I've ever used. But it's also like I just don't know what kind of I don't feel like I need a portable gaming system that's really amazing, and I don't know what kind of market is out there for it at this point.
Right.
I just feel like it's like, how amazing would it be if Sony could have baked all of this into a phone, or something, or like a tablet. Like if they'd have made their tablet with like a pop-out controls on the side or something, it would have been like, whoa. I don't know. Well, I was saying,
materializes in front of you.
Here you go.
So like,
Here's your conch shell.
so first off, like it's not that huge. It's very thick, but it's not that huge. I mean, there are some things about this that I find like absurd.
Right.
I mean, the fact that it takes these proprietary game cards, I think, is insane in today's.
And they look exactly like SD cards.
Yeah, and then
Same size
it
and
also
everything.
takes SD cards, but they're
No,
also
no. It's not. It's
they're proprietary.
Proprietary format.
There is another proprietary for storage, so you can't store it any other way. But what I was gonna say is like, it's not that. If you just have a look at the screen, it's not that much bigger than like Galaxy Nexus or whatever. I just feel
the screen isn't. No, it's 5
if
inches.
they could have right, it's bigger. I mean,
Yeah.
But if they could have come up with some way to like get these controls to like pop out of the sides or to like fold or like, and it was a phone, and it did this. I don't know. I guess they tried that.
I mean, if they did, we'd call it gimmicky. I mean, it's
no,
it's
unless it was if it had
together.
this kind of gameplay, if it had Uncharted like this, and it. I don't know. Whatever. I'm actually, I have a bigger question for Sony, which is I was reading the latest issue of Us Weekly, and Emma Roberts, who is Julia Roberts.
Sadly, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Julia Roberts' niece, I guess, who's a big star now. They had a photo of her, and she was holding the Xperia Play. Like seemed like a casual photo of her doing something with it.
So
like
we know at least one of those got sold.
Well, I miss celebrities with sidekicks.
Well, it was at first I was like, oh, she has a sidekick, and then it wasn't a sidekick, and I don't know how that happened. I don't know what the story is with it, but anyhow, so the Vita, like, I think it's really good. I just don't think it's of our time. I think it's of like a couple of years ago, like a few years.
Right. No, I will say this: you will not.
The interface is terrible.
The interface is ugly, but it's efficient. You can get things really fast.
No. Actually, I actually think that the touch response. I think the touch response is like superior to almost every Android device I've used,
right.
And like the fluidity and the speed of it is great. I just think that it is hideously ugly and not well thought out at all. But besides that, it's great. I mean, it could make. It has the potential to be like a great operating system. The browser's not that bad.
I love the page peel thing.
Yeah, but it's
very gratifying gesture.
It is gratifying. If
it doesn't make it, it's not like logical. It doesn't make any sense, but it's very gratifying.
So I'm going to show this on video. I just want to like quickly talk about it. So if can you get in here? So, and for the people who are just listening to the podcast, you'll just have to imagine what I'm doing with my hands. So, here there's like a list of apps, which, I mean, you can see here in terms of the response, it's pretty good. Is this angle okay, Creighton?
Josh swipes gently across the screen.
Yeah. Oh, this is good. It's like golf. Yeah. So when you open an application, like let's say I want to go to the browser, or let's do Maps, okay? So first, when you touch the thing, and then it's like, oh, you want to open Maps? Okay, are you sure?
Uh-huh.
You have to touch it again.
Yeah.
Second touch to open Maps. Okay.
Well, I know you get a lot of false touches.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's the issue. I don't know if this will work or not.
I mean, when you only have 7 icons on a
anyhow, but then when you want to leave,
screen.
You go back here, okay, and then it takes you back, and then you have like these cards.
It is. It's like card view.
It's kind of like card view, and it works really well. And then like to get rid of an application, you peel it away.
That was a nice peel.
Like removing a sticky note.
Can I pull this one? Do you care?
Do it.
Look at that. Look at that. Nice
So imagine a
like
WebOS card, but instead of a flick up to get rid of it, you peel it off like a piece of paper, tearing it off from a sheet.
But it works well. But like the thing is, okay, you can go back. But the thing is, it just is. It's like there's so many different motifs going on here. It's like the bubbles and then the pages, and then it also plays like this ridiculous music when you're. I mean, you have to turn it off. But
you know the saddest moment so far of this podcast is when I tapped Uncharted Golden Abyss and then I tapped Start. And it said insert a PS Vita card that contains.
That's a great example.
Right. It's like I saw an application icon. If I tap an application icon, I expect it to launch.
My audio just got really quiet. Can you? Yeah, that's better. Can you install games off of the cards?
As far as I can tell, no. But
Right,
if you buy it from the store, and you can buy the disc games from the store, you have the file on there.
Then it's installed.
Right. And it's cheaper.
So it does this thing if you insert the card and then remove it. It puts the icon on the screen to like remind you that you had played it, I guess. Again, bad user interface, but that's beside the point. It's a game system. No one expects it to have a good user interface. Well, I thought the controls were also they felt a little bit small to my
So did you read the Brian Crescente, who's part of Vox Games, wrote, he's been writing his like regular column in our forums, which is awesome.
Yes.
It's an embarrassment of riches in our forums now.
Our forums are just overflowing with goods. If you're not in the forums, if you're not subscribed to, if you're not a member of our community and in the forums doing things, you're
just give up.
There's no reason for you to continue living, as far as I'm concerned. You don't have anything to live for.
I mean, you already don't exist.
You don't exist.
Your life is like a page on a series of home screens, and you could just grab the right corner and just peel it off.
Peel it right down, and you know what? No one's gonna miss you because you didn't make an appearance in our forums. That is terrible. I just told literally like 99.9% of the world that they could kill themselves and nobody would miss them. Anyhow, but the people.
But you could get it back. You could just tap that icon again and it's open.
Yeah, unless you didn't put the card in. The card of life. I don't know what we're talking
So,
about.
anyways, he wrote an editorial called "Portable Gaming is Dead. Long Live Vita Gaming," and the idea is basically like, I don't need a portable console. I don't need my regular console and portable console. I don't need. There is increasingly less of a distinction between portable entertainment and regular entertainment. There's just entertainment, and so you decide if you want the Vita. It's like, maybe I want to play the Vita on my couch. The Vita has to now compete just with all sorts of regular entertainment, with your iPad, with your Wii U tablet, with your Xbox 360.
The Wii U.
I mean, they're on a continuum now.
Right.
You know, the Xbox 360 is this large tablet, the Wii U is a large tablet that you kind of have in your living room.
Living room gaming tablet.
Right. And then your iPad is a tablet that could go anywhere.
Living room gaming tablet.
And then the Vita is
living room gaming
like a really kind of a smaller tablet with buttons. Yeah.
Right.
You know,
it's like a what's the name of that Dell? The 5-inch tablet.
Oh, the Streak.
The Streak.
Yeah.
It's like a Streak with buttons.
Oh, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
What you've always wanted. You know what? Streak, not a hit by itself. You just put some buttons on it.
Done.
Well, the Streak, they discontinued that, didn't they?
I don't know.
Didn't it just get military spec or something?
Oh yeah, Dell's all up with the military.
Yeah.
They're just like buddy.
They couldn't sell it to consumers, but the government all up in that.
They're like,
and you know,
the government was like, it's buggy and old. We'll take it to equip our military with.
Well, you know, Richard Lai back at Engadget, who got the Streak before anybody in the world, said he was, is using it to pick up women. Maybe that's what the Vita's for.
What do you mean to actually like scoop them up? Right? Because it's so large. He's like getting it underneath them and lifting them off onto.
It's great
onto
leverage.
like a truck, a pickup truck somewhere. They drive it off.
If you give Richard Lai,
not that Richard would ever do that. He's a wonderful man.
Like a lever large enough that is also a tablet, he'll move the world.
Do you think Richard Lai is off with the Galaxy Note right now doing the same thing?
Putting it under unsuspecting ladies and
what I'm saying is the Vita might be the next step.
Well, at any rate, so what was the gist of it is that you got all these competing things. Brian wrote this piece,
right?
And his point was that was it.
I already said his point.
That was it. The whole thing.
Yeah, it's that it has to compete on a continuum of entertainment devices, and it's a really great entertainment device. So maybe it can, maybe it can't.
Right.
But that's a landscape. It's not competing.
But
just
I think it is
a portable device.
I guess so, but I just don't think it does. It doesn't go as far as how much is that? $250.
Yeah, and
I mean, the Kindle Fire is going to do a lot more. Like it's worse for gaming.
You get 4 Kindle Fires for the same price.
Worse for gaming, but way better for a bunch of other stuff.
Right. I mean, the Vita is the sum of like almost every portable gaming idea you could have in controls and distribution methods. And it's arguably trying to compete against everything.
I'm a little disappointed.
Not really well.
Disc. Some kind of place to put a disc.
By the way,
What if you could add like a second device that was the same?
What's happening?
Don't look.
I'm not looking.
There's a bongo dancer.
What if there was a second device that's the same size as the Vita and you'd snap it onto the back and you could put discs into it like a Sega CD?
Like a Sega CD. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Or like the TurboGrafx CD attachment, which I had, by the way.
New great idea. The Vita 32X.
Man, you make a joke, but I played some killer CD games on my TurboGrafx.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ease Book 1 and 2, I believe is how it's pronounced.
What was the Blade Runner?
Snatcher.
Snatcher.
So I played Snatcher for on Mega Drive CD. I downloaded it because what was I going to do?
Yeah.
Hook it up to my video inputs, hook up yellow cables. I played all of Snatcher.
Yeah.
Laura actually watched me play Snatcher like from beginning to end, like over several weeks or several nights. I don't remember how long it took. It was awesome.
I played a couple days of Snatcher, but I didn't.
Snatcher's awesome. You should all. I mean, Snatcher's the best. On my Facebook page, my timeline at the top of it, that is an image from Snatcher.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I love Snatcher. It's one of my all-time favorite games. And also for fans of Metal Gear, there's a lot of like stuff that carried over from Snatcher to Metal Gear.
Right, it's the same guy who made it, Kojima.
Yeah, that's right. It's one of his earlier games. But back to the Vita.
What we're really saying is Vita needs Snatcher.
Well,
yeah,
no, I was just going to say,
I'll tell you, if it had Snatcher, I'd buy a Vita in a second.
Some of these old,
or why don't they release Snatcher for the iPhone or for Android?
some of these old like PC adventure games, which are mouse based, where you're clicking around.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Are already being
like
ported.
Sierra games.
Yeah, they're already being ported to the iPhone. It
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense for them to come here, and Double Fine's doing a new adventure game. They
Which-
have to be looking.
But
at
it's not
these
coming
sort
to
of-
Vita. It's coming to iOS, Android, and Steam.
But I feel like
It's
any
cheaper.
What is it? What's the game?
They're not saying it's some kind of adventure game. It's the
Untitled
Kickstarter
adventure game.
Oh,
story.
right.
But like any like
Are any of those games available for Android? Any of the Sierra stuff?
I don't know. I know some are for iPhone.
Gotta
I'm sure they're
gotta
there.
start
Whether
buying
they're
things
there
right now.
legally and officially.
I don't know. I always am like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play games, and I download games, and I'm like, I never touch.
You know
I
what?
literally have like 20 games I've never touched on my phone. I'm like always complaining, but why am I complaining? Because I'm not even playing them.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I always complain about video games, but then I don't play anything but StarCraft. So it's like,
Right.
you know what? Maybe I'm not the right person.
You're
to be
not the right
complaining
guy
about.
for the job.
But the nice thing about this device
we
and
have
the
here?
Wii U too is like any design and development you do towards iOS works really great being ported straight over to here. Like obviously underlying code, like the engine stuff might need to be ported, but like the basic, like the assets and the touch interaction, all of that stuff works so good on this. I think it's going to be really good for being like your best experience. You played the wussy touch version on your stupid iPhone, but now play it for real.
But I mean, like that brings up an interesting point because was it last week where we were at a meeting with Mass Effect guys, and they're talking about the new iOS game,
Right.
And it's the same guys who did Dead Space for iPad, which looks amazing,
Right.
And they're like, we'll look at the Vita, which was the nice political response saying we don't care. You can charge more for your Vita game,
oh my
but
God.
you'll get more return.
But so
Android market is the worst.
But there's
I mean,
a difference.
trying to
Like-
find one right
Just search
now.
for Monkey Island.
So
It's
here's
like
the thing.
Monkey Island soundboard, like just weird.
But
like,
there's millions
so much
of
crap.
Android devices out there, right?
so they claim.
But they aren't being developed for it as much because it's not such a clear, easy target. But if they sell a lot of Vitas, it's one thing to hit. And so it's anything that you develop for iOS, you're going to port it to Vita because there's going to be enough Vitas out there to make it totally worth it.
Well, maybe.
So, it's obviously, and this always happens with consoles. You need to sell enough to get the games. You need the games to sell enough. But
I'm gonna be honest with you.
I think
man.
if they sell enough, I think this is going to be a prime target for people porting stuff like the Mass Effect game.
But I mean, that's true of anything, regardless of how difficult it is to program. If you sell enough, people are going to flock to it.
Yeah, but the problem,
It's the
the problem we've seen with Android is it has all this fragmentation that makes it. It's like they've sold a lot of Android, but any one specific phone there might not be enough to.
Are you talking to each other?
Neilai's pissed that we haven't.
Can I just say, well, we'll let him on a second. He can just settle down. He's the guy who's late, right? Got his hair fixed up though, didn't he? Or did he? No, don't come in here. You're not allowed in here. Don't let him in here. You're ruining the
Creighton,
podcast.
stop him.
Just wait 1 second. I'm thinking now. I got to be honest with you. With all this new mountain lion stuff and all this mountain lion stuff and the fact that I can't play any Sierra games on my Android phone, I got to tell you, I'm thinking about switching back.
Really?
I have to say,
Back to the iPhone.
that phone let me see it. What's this phone like? I've never. Oh yeah, this is nice. It is nice. I have to say, it's nice hardware. They really nailed it. They really knocked it out of the park, except if it falls even 1 inch. Here, anyhow. So what do you think? You gonna get a Vita?
Well, I mean, after I turn the review unit next week, yeah, I think so, actually. I think I'll get the Wi-Fi one. But
You are gonna get one.
I am the enthusiast who will play every console and every platform known to man.
Right. You're the guy.
I'm that guy.
You're that dude.
Yeah, the game journalist. That's about it.
You're really like a technology journalist.
Tech journalist. Gadget.
I mean, I just want to be clear here.
tech
You're
and
not.
games.
I'm not going to lose you to Vox Games. And if you try to make a move to Vox Games,
You have a big reach. I'm a
gonna be-
little.
I can hold you.
I could be in Gramercy right now.
You
and
feel like-
you will get me.
You feel like you're out, but you'll be just. My arms will be around you.
You know what I want?
What do you want?
I want to get a Kinect. I've decided. Finally.
Really? Why?
Well, I just Mass Effect for the.
Oh, yeah.
I want to tell.
It is
my-
it is a world of difference to actually be able to talk to it.
Also, it was really cool. The other day, I went to. Sometimes not only do Ross and I get confused on the podcast, but sometimes I get food delivered to his house. Like
I heard
if I'm
about that.
hanging out at his house.
Yeah.
On Seamless. And so,
I don't understand how that happens. Like, you
Well,
need
because
to
I
have
have
separate accounts.
I have
Oh, I
both
see,
addresses loaded into my account.
Because you're broing down sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes we're broing down. And so I know as I accidentally got food sent to his house, so I had to bike down there and pick it up. And
It was the same day that HR confused us with
Yeah.
expenses.
and yeah. So,
It just
we're going
happens.
through a
Not
lot of
easy.
identity crisis. Anyways, I walk into his apartment and he's like, Xbox, pause.
Are you serious?
And like from across the
I really
across the
use
living
I
room.
use the Kinect all the time.
Did it work?
And it
Yeah,
was
it did.
cool because then I could say Xbox play and we could go back and forth. It was just like a fun little bit we were doing.
That's fine.
No, but-
you love it when someone else has control
I know.
of your
But
stuff.
to the point that was the Mass Effect thing. Like, if you played Mass Effect before, the menu system is so annoying to do
Very
spells to equip.
complicated.
It's not complicated.
Yeah.
It's just
No,
annoying because
it's
it pauses.
complicated.
Especially the first one. I stopped playing the first one specifically
Yep.
because of the menu. I thought they were going to come out with an Xbox update, but to
Right.
make it more like the PC, but they never did, and I just gave up.
Well, how is it different on the PC?
Well, it's like more of like a PC interface.
All right,
A
this
drag and
is
drop.
we should
We're
we're just
done.
this is boring. Anyhow, any other thoughts on? I mean, we're just talking about games, and it's nobody likes.
I'm
that.
going back
Nobody
to my game
likes
after
video
this, so,
games.
Are you?
You're not going back to what?
I'm going back to my game right now. Don't mind me.
Oh yeah. Well,
if we're
you have to
done,
put the-
I
you have to
mean,
put
I'm
the
just
card-
gonna-
You have to put the card in first, don't you?
No, he's
I
got
got the card in.
Lumens.
What are you playing?
Lumines.
What is that?
It's like a rhythmic Tetris.
I mean, everything you just said makes me want to jump out, rip this thing off the wall, and jump out of the window
with a
behind
drum
it.
machine.
Yeah, it's like Angry Birds, but like in Mad Men or whatever. I don't know. It's like an
I'll be-
elevator pitch.
That's a pretty good one.
That is pretty good.
Angry Birds meets Mad Men.
Yeah, like the
Yeah,
Angry.
you didn't even need to
I
explain
don't know,
it.
you just- Thank you. All right, Ross, we're going to send you off.
Yes, Neil needs to see.
Are there
it,
any
so-
final thoughts?
Nope.
Michigan, you're on the line. Sorry.
Hey,
excuse me.
how many Ross out of 10 Ross stars does it get? Just
Ross
don't
stars?
ignore the convoluted Verge rating system with all the sliders. Just
Paul
what is,
helped us create.
what does Ross think in his heart?
I want to give it 76 raw stars, but I'm not going to
Out
tell
of
you.
what?
Out of how many Ross
I'm
stars?
not going to tell you. That's the part you got to figure out.
I think it's 100 out of 100.
Yeah, I
Ross
think so
stars,
too.
Which is like 7.6. By the
Yeah,
way.
pretty much.
All right, get out of here, Ross.
Strong
Thank you.
praise.
Thank you for
Strong
joining us.
praise.
Let's bring Eli in and let's see how he feels. Wow, really? Just gonna drop him like that, huh? You know, this is the only other pair of headphones we have. If we lose these, we're finished.
We're gone.
We're off the air. Yeah. Can you sit there? Is that cool? Don't be mad with me, man. You're the guy's late. Eli's been like pounding. He's been pounding Miller Lite out there, and is in a rage right now.
I was pretty mad.
Could I get a Diet Coke?
Eli, can you get him a Diet Coke while you're out?
I was sitting there
While
doing
you're
nothing.
up. I saw Eli earlier today on a conference call, and he looked
Yeah.
like he had just come out of like a
You know what I looked like?
a hibernation.
I looked like I had spent all night writing
Oh, here we
an
go.
OS 10
Here we go
review.
with the Mountain Lion guilt.
I,
By the way,
Not Mac OS 10, just OS 10.
By the way, it's only 748 comments on that post, right?
Yeah,
now.
no one
It's
insane.
insane.
Cares about it.
By the way, I just want to let everybody know. I know things get crazy slow on our site when we get a ton of comments on a post, and our developers. I was actually meeting with our lead developer today. He's just the greatest guy in the world.
Yeah.
And Trey Brundred is his name. Feel free to email him.
We should give him a Verge address so people can email him directly.
Anyhow,
By the way, hi everyone.
I bet like $100 nobody here can spell his name. It was a surprising spelling for me.
It's 2 T's. Right?
You know how to spell it, so
I
you
do know how to
can't
spell it.
like
I'm
guess.
trying to think though.
Anyhow, but long and short of it is we're going to be fixing up the comments real nice. Editing is coming.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We got all kinds of stuff happening, all kinds of nasty stuff brewing. Can you tell us it's loud? Can you hear all this background
is there a
noise?
mic out there?
Oh, there's like a party out there, man. I wanted to stay out there. I didn't want
So
to
many people.
Oh yeah, you
All right.
you wanted to stay out there.
I
'cause
did.
You were like, please let me on, please let me
Yeah,
on.
you were.
Those were tears of joy.
I did see a lot of crying going on out there. Anyhow, Nilay Patel, you're
talking to the.
what is that hand motion you're doing?
It's really disturbing.
Anyhow, so Nilay's here
All right,
now.
Hi.
I guess we should talk about Mountain Lion.
Yeah.
We should.
Yeah. So let's talk about it.
So it was very strange last week. Actually, there's two parts of the story. One is that last week Apple was like, "Hey, do you guys?
He's a little loud. My headphones. Can we turn them down?
Don't you have a thing?"
And
No. Everybody sounds right except you sound loud.
and I still sound like really, really compressed or really over.
Last
overdriven.
night.
She said.
Yeah, everything sounds really loud. I mean, I have to say, I can hear. Whatever Ross did, it's
Well,
his
if you
fault.
can turn yourself down, but what I'm saying, whatever, just keep going. Mountain Lion.
Mountain Lion. So last week, Apple said,
Compressing this audio now, are you? You running a compressor on this? Yeah, I can hear it.
"This is amazing."
I can hear ducking a little bit too.
I
Go ahead.
haven't opened this computer, and I'm getting like 50 notifications of every message that I've gotten all day today. Anyway,
iMessage is broken.
it's pretty.
I like it.
Anyway, last week,
iMessage
Apple.
is insane, by the way. Okay,
Let's-
sorry,
let's-
just go ahead.
Let me put this in frame, and then we can paint the picture.
I'm
How's
listening.
that?
That's great.
No, last week, so Apple says come to a meeting, and Josh says, "Okay, Neil and I will come, but that's the day of our show, so I'm gonna make it." So so I'm on my way to the meeting. And I find out Josh has decided to go get his hair cut before the show.
No.
Hollywood Topolsky wants to look good for Jimmy Fallon. So he doesn't
first of all,
come to the meeting.
First of all, I get my hair done for every show.
You're a little red.
I'm a little embarrassed. I get my hair done for every show. I had to. It was either you either look like a jerk on the show or go to a meeting, which they didn't.
They
we
refused to tell
They
us
were like,
what it
we
was,
want to have a
to be
meeting with
fair.
you. They didn't tell us what it was. We've had meetings like this before. Typically, it's for like a new piece of software, like not a big thing.
Yeah.
like a new version.
I
of-
thought it was gonna be iLife. That's what I.
Yeah, we
that
were
was
like, it'll
kind
be
of our
iLife,
guess.
or maybe they're bumping the Mac Pros or something, like adding Thunderbolt.
some
or
crap I don't care
A new
about.
time,
but
like a new time
just
capsule.
just like a, you're right, new networking stuff, like just something that's a relatively minor thing. And I thought Neil, our managing editor,
Yeah,
I
solo.
put my faith in him. I said, he's got this. I don't have to worry about it because I got Neil.
Yeah, here I am.
Josh doesn't
This
need to
guy.
be there. Josh can go get his hair did. Go on.
What, you wanted to look pretty?
And
for
I
Jimmy.
did look pretty good.
You
I did look
looked
pretty
excellent.
for Jimmy.
Yeah.
He actually told me backstage, he said, and I quote, "You look real pretty for me." He didn't say that. Sorry.
That
Jimmy.
is terrifically disturbing.
I know, right? It is. It's gross.
Anyway, so it was Apple always does meetings in New York, and they
Yeah.
do it whenever there's
like new laptops.
new iMacs.
Yeah, I mean, we've walked out of a hotel with like
a
gigantic. What is that?
What?
Who's- That's you.
You're
Can you
playing-
stop that?
you're
I'm trying to
playing
get
the show
in
on
the
your
chat.
Idiot. How dare you? Go
I just
ahead.
want to
So
be.
yeah,
wanna
so
be-
I was getting my hair done like a lady.
Anyway, so they sit me down. They take us through. Like we're showing off 10.8 Mountain Lion. And there's a lot about that's insane. It's one, they just held an event in New York for a new version of iBooks, not their new operating system. Second, are you just iMessaging me?
Yes.
Second, this is really fast, right? I mean, Lion just came out 7 months ago.
Yeah,
And-
it's incredible that they're doing it.
Yeah.
At all.
And you know what I love about the timing is that it's like, sometimes we're like, oh, I wonder if they're doing that to like, directly counter what Microsoft's doing. Sometimes like we wonder. But this one is just the most completely obvious. Apple wants to just slam something in the face of Microsoft. And it's called
Wow.
It's called a virtual copy of Mountain Lion that you download from the Mac App Store.
Well, no, I think
So
there's
first off, you
there's an
can't
element of
you
that.
can't download unless you're a developer.
Yeah, right.
Right.
So they're not giving it to people.
No, they'll distribute it when you sell it over the Mac App Store when they start selling it in like this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But I'm saying
Right
you're
when
saying
Windows 8
the
comes out.
Windows 8 is coming out in October, I thought.
Yeah.
Isn't that the rumor?
They're going to just make them look silly.
Well, but it doesn't matter because it's just another version of OS 10.
Right.
I think it's
That
really
is
important.
totally awesome.
It's a really
I
important
actually,
version.
it is important. Okay, let's just go ahead.
Yeah, let's go through. So I think you're right. I think there's two parts to it. One, they are stealing a bit of Microsoft's thunder, but I think they're going to do that even more next month when they do the iPad stuff, whatever they're going to do. Second, there's all these new features in here, and I think they need to get developer support for them. Because if this thing comes out and nothing supports Notification Center,
Yeah.
and nothing
That's the
supports
real.
Gatekeeper,
That's the real point.
And nothing supports Game Center.
I also think there's a
And AirPlay.
I also think something else here that I was realizing today after your story came out, and a bunch of other people had it. Engadget did something on it. MG Siegler did something for TechCrunch on it. Mac World, I believe,
Yeah.
did something. Jim Dalrymple did
Oh,
something.
yeah, no, it was like
I
saturation.
mean, there was
coverage.
they got it out to a lot of journalists, and
That just go to your phone.
yeah, you're everything in my life is not beeping thanks to Paul.
That makes no sense. Anyhow, but it occurred to me that another thing they wanted to do here is because they have to do that, they were going to put it make it available to developers because there's a bunch of stuff that developers need to plug into here. I mean, the gatekeeper thing is one piece.
That's a huge one.
Even if you're not an app store person, you have to now consider it. The notification stuff. There's a list.
So I can run through the
Well, hold on. What I was going to say is I think a lot of this was they did not want people going into they didn't want guys like us either getting sent screenshots and information from a developer or just going online and downloading.
They wanted to control this message.
They wanted to be able to say like, here's what it is, here's what we want to do with it. Whereas like before we've seen stuff with betas where we get like leaked a bunch of photos from somebody who's a developer, or in the past like we've done stuff like we did a bunch of stuff at Engadget where we'd like just take a look at it.
Yeah.
And I think that they prefer to just be able to say like, here's our product and here's what it means, and before you know, and go install it.
And I will say they've been very. I spent the week writing the preview, and they've been completely responsive to me.
Yeah.
Like
Apple's
in a
been-
way that Apple generally isn't.
Apple's been a little more. I mean, I don't know if this is a Tim Cook thing. I do feel like they've been like a little bit more vocal and communicative.
I mean, Tim Cook was he did the Goldman Sachs investor conference.
Yeah.
And he was like just on stage, just riffing about stuff for like half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's a little different. I mean, I don't know if it's just because they've gotten so much bigger and now they're just such a everybody talks about them all the time, like whether you're mainstream or guys like us, but they do seem a little more just talkative, right? And maybe that's just because it's Tim Cook wants to say, hey, like I'm a dude, I'm here, I got plans. Anyhow, go ahead, run down the things that are new in Mountain Lion.
So they're focusing on 10, which I think is a little.
That's their
I think it's
shtick.
around.
That's what
It's
they
their
do.
shtick. But the big ones are obviously Notification Center, which is iOS Notification Center. I mean, literally has the same texture, the same linen.
I hate Linen so bad, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting.
I
You know
really-
what
I really
really
don't.
bugs me is I started looking like really closely at it, and it looks like somebody with like a Photoshop brush of like.
No, they just
It's
they
like
were doing it.
what are like
Well, it's a repeating pattern.
But yeah, it's like one of those like fake marker brushes,
Yeah.
like a really bad Photoshop
no,
brush.
it's bad. It is, and I just want to say like
there aren't really any threads there.
there is, by the way,
It's just cross hatching.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
no. He's right. It's like a texture.
Yeah.
I just want to say there is something, I know you're going to mention it, that suggests that Apple may be moving in another direction, or in away from some of that kind of
All in and all the time.
all the time mode.
Oh, that's not what I was going to say. What were you
What were
going
you
to say?
gonna say?
I'm
Well,
really
they
curious.
What are you
made
talking
change.
about?
They like reverted some stuff in iCal.
Just bare.
I mean, they
little.
took out
but they-
some stitches.
But they removed like functionality and they also did an address book where they like went against their like, this is how the real address book
Yeah.
works, and they're actually like
But
making
it still has the aesthetic. It's just a little more intuitive.
do you have it on
So,
there?
I don't think
so
they-
at least
I don't
they
think-
like
yeah,
they
I-
listen to outcry. I don't think they're gonna change this like pattern. I mean, look
I
at
don't know.
Game Center.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, I mean, Game Center's an atrocity.
But
and should
they're
be-
at least
Let me-
listening.
let me
and-
finish the
and
feature
Yeah,
on
you're right.
correcting
I guess
capabilities.
I overstated. I just want to say they rolled back some things that were stupid that they did in iCal in Lion in Mountain Lion, which I'm excited about. I mean, I'm as excited as you can be for a change in a calendar application,
Well, I'm excited.
which, by the way, I try to avoid at all costs.
Yeah, I don't use it.
I mean, I seriously hate
I
it.
use BusyCal, which you should use.
I use BusyCal is its own calendar
Yeah.
app. So I actually really prefer Google's web interface.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. There's a time because it's like the real interface. To
There's
the,
just
the
more.
service, right?
It's just more informative and flat, and just like not like a thing that I have to manipulate. Like I don't want my calendar to be a thing I have to manipulate. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. I'm leaving the manipulation for other.
guilt trips.
Yeah, exactly. All right, go ahead.
So Notification Center, literally, it's not flexible at all. I mean, they pop up in the upper right, they go away. The settings panel looks just like the iOS settings panel. You know, I use Growl like a maniac on the Mac. Maniac on the Mac. menu Mac theme slasher movie.
Wow. I just saw a new article that Laura published on our site, which is amazing on many levels.
Okay. Anyway, are we gonna read it?
No, go
Read me the
ahead.
headline.
I'm just going to show it.
But people on
You
the
just have to read the.
just read the
Fine,
headline.
Wait, what?
Just read the headline. Do it.
I'm going to.
Are you gonna say it? Do
It's-
it. Go.
it's
Go.
Nip teams up with Twitter.
That's with a G.
GNIP. I assume that's how it's pronounced. Teams up with Twitter to become first authorized seller of historical tweets. And I don't know what that means completely, but I can tell you that the image for the post is a Laura June tweet reading, "I have an idea."
Wait. It's
That's amazing.
What are historical?
I think it's like when Barack Obama's like, "America rules," and somebody's like, "That's amazing. The president just said that," and then like they get it framed or something. I don't know what happens.
You just made that up completely.
Wait, let's see. What do they do?
Whoa, what is this ad on our site? That's not good.
Hold on.
Oh, it's like the Twitter archive
Yeah.
that like they like hide.
All right.
Historical data. I don't know. It's very confusing.
I'd like
they
it.
need a new name.
I'd like
Let's
it
start
best if
there.
they're like retweeting like famous speeches or
Every now and
something like
again.
that.
Oh, like in thousands of tweets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. All right, sorry, I'm totally off topic.
Completely off topic.
Let's hear about the features of Mountain Lion.
Yes.
Notification center. We're still on the first one.
Oh man.
Can I just say something
I can't
about
stand that linen.
One thing that bugs me about linen. Hear me out.
So you open it with a new gesture, which is
It's two fingers.
from the side, which is weird. It's Apple's like first like
you better,
edge.
what happens if you have a full screen browser?
Yeah, everything just slides over.
You're like,
I'm like
stuff, man.
50% on being able to open the notifications.
Yeah, it's not easy. They're tweaking. I mean, this is like they're like it's developer preview 1. We're still working on it. Like,
I'll be honest with you. What
I don't want to be. It's hard to be too mean about this stuff right
No,
now.
we should review it right now.
I'll be honest with you. So I actually have come around to the. I guess it's three. It's the three finger swiping between spaces gesture. I've been using. I have kind of a new setup that I've been using, and that I actually, it does not drive me totally insane to do. What?
I don't know. I was looking for my Diet Coke.
Paul
and
just
I found,
held my hand
I found
for no
Eli's hand.
I hope we're getting this. It's weird.
I feel so uncomfortable and yet so
weird.
reassured.
I just
It's
don't know
just
what's
such an
happening.
odd combination.
I'll be there for you, Neil.
So
Even if
violated
you are
and
late
so
for
loved.
the podcast,
I'm
I'll still be
sorry.
there.
What?
Okay, spaces.
Let's go ahead. Keep listening to notifications.
All right, so
you
there's
swipe.
that.
You swipe from the edge, but not either edge, only the right edge.
Just
right?
the right edge because they,
Oh God.
so their whole thing is that it only
What
lives.
happened to the Apple that let me put the dock wherever I wanted?
No, they're gone.
What happened
and
to that
the notifications
Apple?
are only in the upper right. Like you can't.
No,
put
I
them
know,
anywhere else.
I know.
It makes no
well,
sense.
as of right now, there was
Maybe.
there was stuff in the early version of Lines they changed. Like you couldn't change. You couldn't. It was something about Launchpad. You couldn't add a shortcut or change the
Yeah.
shortcut for Launchpad, and then the actual release you could.
Right.
But I just think like this is not a tablet.
Yeah.
I've told you guys my dream.
Like, what about for left-handed people? Maybe they think that on the left-hand side is more convenient.
I am a left-handed person. I
I'm
know.
left-handed as
Whatever. You're a non-citizen. You're
well.
not.
Like I have to like reach all the way across.
That's also untrue.
It's kind of it's very uncomfortable.
See your papers.
I've told you I've told you my dream before. Like
Citizen papers.
I want the menu bar to be a pull down like it is in iOS,
Yeah.
right? But the thing, you have so much real estate, so you could click on it and pull it down, or
Seems a little
or
ridiculous.
you could do some sort of like two finger drag, but from the top. But you pull it down, and then you have like half a screen or even a whole screen of notifications.
of linen.
Of linen.
Just all in.
Well, you know what it should
no,
be.
but the idea to me is that I think notifications is great. I'm really excited that they're doing this
Yeah.
and building it in. But I think what the next step is that you can have inline like replies. Like it makes sense to me that you would like an iMessage is funneling all your conversations into
like,
one place.
Like WebOS, basically.
Yeah,
let you do
yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly.
And why not now?
it makes
It's up for grabs.
yeah, seriously. So that every time you got a notification, you could like do a quick reply to an email, quick reply to an iMessage, whether it went to Neil's phone or computer. And
But you know
never have
what's
it-
crazy to me is that there's the whole dashboard. Like that's a 3-finger
Oh,
swipe
dude,
to the left.
the
right?
dashboard is
like
so
it's right,
stupid.
but it's so unused. Like,
You know, like
What do you mean,
a bunch
the,
of my
you mean the
a bunch of my
weather and
widgets
stuff?
are
Yeah.
like broken.
I do
now.
it as a flyover. I don't use this.
yeah, but I'm
'cause that's
saying you
stupid.
could make it a lot more useful if you just did the 3-finger swipe to the right, I guess, and you made dashboard actually useful.
makes
as
so
You
a
mean like
sense.
how they have weather in
Yeah, in the notification center.
But can I just say, like, it drives me crazy on the
So
iPad.
logical.
The notification center.
I don't know, man. It makes no sense to me.
The notification center, how it comes down on the iPad, and it's just that thin strip, and also
Yeah.
it's linen. Somebody pointed this out actually. I forget who it was, but that like linen.
It's the bottom layer, right? Is that what you're
It's
gonna say?
underneath.
Yeah.
Right, and even in Mountain Lion.
Yeah, no, it's underneath
It's
the desktop,
underneath,
yeah.
and on the iPhone and the iPad, when you get notifications, linen is up above, and it's like not even in a thing. It's like floating, like it has no. On the iPad, it just looks like they threw it in there. Like
it doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's just this weird sheet that you pull down. It just looks bad. Like I don't understand why. But forget about that. I mean, that's because they're trying to like create some real world, one-to-one
skew more.
But I agree that But I agree that if you were to pull it over and you had like weather and stocks and whatever,
it was
else,
an actual dashboard. You could actually just call it
like,
dashboard.
Would you like
actually use it?
Would you like pull over one thing for like would it lock to like just notifications? Then which like you could open up more and see all those.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Or
So
like you do the full swipe.
Well, you could do it. Like you could just do a quick swipe and it would just open
Yeah.
the messages, and you could do like a longer swipe and it would like pull it open to see all of the stuff.
Because I mean, I
You know,
use,
this is the greatest writing device in the world, greatest pointing device.
Well,
in the world.
same for Safari, like where you kind of preview a page.
Yeah.
You don't actually like go back.
So that's-
you just like pull it over a little bit just to see.
So that's the other thing
how
about
Safari
the
works?
gesture in Safari is that in Lion, 2-finger gestures they work at the application level.
Right.
And 3-finger gestures work at the OS level.
Right.
And then this is some new crazy edge gesture that's at the OS level.
You mentioned this in your preview, and I absolutely agree. You need to keep OS level gestures at like 3 fingers or more.
Yeah. And also, I mean, Apple's big line to me was that 1 finger on iOS is 2
Right.
fingers
Yeah.
on the Mac. And
And
like, that doesn't make any sense.
BS.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Did people use Safari still?
I
I've been trying to use
switch
it.
to it every like month when Chrome starts just being so horrible.
I'm always like I'm going to use Safari now, and then like I use it for 2 minutes. I'm like, no, this is
Well,
not
now it's got this. We got to move through these features so that I could talk about all of them because I'm very excited. Because like now Safari is this sharing thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, okay, so you want to talk about sharing? We do iMessage later. So there's share buttons throughout the OS, which I actually think are very useful.
Anything that you can like quick preview, you can share.
But you can share them through a variety of services, but that list of services does not include Facebook or YouTube.
Yeah.
And I would say that Apple and Facebook need to have I mean, it's like they have Twitter integrated throughout the system, but I think normal humans want to share things on Facebook more than Twitter.
Definitely. Like you should be able to just pop from iPhoto over to.
I think iPhoto will get it, because iPhoto already has
Does it
Facebook
have it?
integration.
I don't use it that much.
But so the way QuickTime already has YouTube
I should
integration.
really use one of these computers. to be honest with you.
iPhoto has.
So there's that. I think that's really interesting. And other OSs are going to get it. It's not like a standout revolutionary feature.
I just think
but it's just a cool
just
feature.
A very smart, nice little tweet.
Then obviously the next huge one is messages, and I think all of us have been playing. It's in beta. You can go get it if you have Lion right now. And messages is a really good idea that is currently, I would say, a bit of a disaster for a variety of reasons.
It's like the most obvious and important idea, like in the whole operating system, and like this is exactly where we need to go, where you have all unified messages and you can do your phone messaging from your desktop. It just makes so much sense. It's so
But you
logical.
can't. So that's the thing. You can't do your phone messaging from the desktop, and I think that is the enormous problem.
You
with
can do
messages.
Apple's fake, bogus sort of phone messaging, and I mean, I still don't understand it. I was messing around with it for most of the day, and I cannot figure out. Like right now, I don't know how to send something to your phone or to you.
Oh, I know. I know how.
Oh, I don't know.
Click on my name.
What? Right
Over there on the right. Click on my name.
Right. No, there's a huge drop down.
Yeah,
So
there's
I've
a
got,
massive drop down
I've
of
got
like every address
I have
and
two
phone number.
numbers, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 email addresses. Then I can aim him or jabber him. But
Please don't jabber me. I find it tremendously uncomfortable.
But it's like, I don't know which one of these is going to go through. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah,
it
and
says iMessage.
I don't know which one's going to go to my phone. I don't know which one's going to go
Please
to my laptop.
work. I mean, where did you get that?
I got it on my phone.
Okay, so here's the thing. What if I'm messaging you and I think I'm messaging your phone, but I'm actually messaging your computer? I think that's going to happen all the time.
Well, I certainly didn't get this on my computer. Nope, didn't get it on the computer. No idea what happened. No, so this is a problem. And, I actually asked Apple this very directly. And I was really insistent that they answer my question. And they kind of didn't. If you're going to do this, and you're going to say, well, now we've taken away texting. We're replacing texting with iMessage. And we're putting it on all these other devices.
Which is important. It's good.
Which is a good idea. You have to tie it to the phone number. You have to make it replace text messaging. You can't just say, we built another Google Talk, and it sometimes works with your phone number, which is basically what they've done right now.
It's a total crapshoot.
So they need to find a way to have it so that you receive messages at all of the places at once, so that iMessage knows what all your contact information is. And it's a problem only they can solve. Like, there's no way for the user to solve it right now. And the interface for iMessage is also really, really insane. Like, it mixes up. You can switch between Google Talk, AIM, iMessage.
The iMessage thing is, sorry about that. I was just caught.
You're just doing nothing.
I got distracted by a little bit of business. You'll check your email. You'll see what distracted me. I didn't send it to you, but
Oh, thanks a lot.
well, I didn't want to.
Guess I don't matter
I didn't want to
anymore.
create a noisy. It's just
I could leave. Ross Miller can take my place.
He was very good when he was on just a
doesn't
moment
even
ago.
matter.
Actually,
no,
now that you
I saw
mention it.
this earlier.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
It's
we were
really,
talking about it.
really blatant.
Yeah.
Really just shameless and blatant. Line. It's a line.
Yeah.
Anyhow, okay. iMessage. I used it with you earlier today.
Yeah.
Completely insane.
Right.
Like, I couldn't. I was talking to you, and by the way, I know it's beta, so I'm not gonna like knock it too hard. But
They've had this problem since.
But I was like
FaceTime.
talking to Neeli. I like used his email address and like to iMessage. I was iMessaging, and then it was like you can switch to his Gmail and do Google Talk, and I switched to that, and then I couldn't. It changed the option, so I couldn't get back. We were still in the same conversation, but I couldn't get back to you without going to your icon on the side and double clicking on you again, and then it put me back into the same conversation, and then I had the options again. It was like totally insane, and like it's just crazy. It's just really confusing and not clean and doesn't make any sense at all to anybody.
No, and the fact that like just to write a message in iMessage, are you FaceTiming me right now?
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
Why are you FaceTiming him?
I don't know.
It's not working.
This is just getting weird. This is not right.
Yeah, you're holding my hand. You're video calling me, man. Is there something I need
How
to
does
know?
there's just a lot going on here?
No, there's a lot of kinks to work out, I think, in messages, but the idea is good. I feel like it's fair to be really harsh on messages right now because they did release it as a beta to everybody, so it's out there.
And they've had the same problem since FaceTime. It's not a new problem. It's just like it's more pervasive because you're going to do iMessaging more often than you're going to FaceTime people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And and the FaceTime stuff is like you push the button and you FaceTime people.
But you still don't know which one.
I mean, I would say Apple has a lot of rethinking to do on how messages works and how iMessage works with your accounts. But they have, they have quite a few months to get it right. So
when are they targeting?
Summer. They just say summer.
Yeah, I think that that's plenty of time for them to.
But
work
I mean,
this out.
it is. If you go, you should go and download it because if you have Lion, it's like cool to play with.
No, I did download it.
I'm saying to the listener, the
Yeah.
wider,
you
human beings
should go and download it.
It's fun to play with, but it is kind of a
Oh,
disaster.
the other thing, it doesn't mirror your messages.
No.
So, like, if I'm iMessaging with somebody, they're either getting it on their computer or their phone. They're never getting it simultaneously.
Weren't you
That's
getting
not-
them?
no,
No,
that's
that's
not
not right. You should be getting them all over the place.
You get them all over the place.
all at the same time? I
all at
haven't
the same time.
Yeah.
We have a
succeeded in
demo.
that
There's a
yet.
video of
try
that
it.
on the
Let's
site.
try it right now. I'm going to
Oh
send you a
god,
message.
this is going to be a
I'm
disaster.
going to send you an iMessage.
The second you try to demo iMessage, it does not
You-
work.
It's like
I will say this
like
after an hour
it's
of
like
trying to demo
rejecting-
iMessage yesterday.
It's rejecting. Here we go. Hold on. Is this you?
I thought you mentioned this in your preview. I didn't watch the
I would
video.
chat with
No,
you.
if
I
you-
don't have any iMessage.
If you
Oh,
send
here we go.
somebody if you send a message to a phone number,
It says all your stuff is iMessage? No, that can't be right. You're right, Eli. It's not working.
it never works.
I don't have a blue dot.
The second
here
you're
for you
like,
at
let me
all.
show you how this works.
Are you Paul
it
Miller?
refuses to work.
I have all of your information in here.
That's what you thought.
Oh, there you go. There you are. Okay.
Can we? Where's Paul? Paul sent me a bunch of stuff.
That work? Delivered. I got a delivery receipt.
Hey, see, I got that on my. You don't know which.
I don't know. It should be both.
Nope. It's just on my computer.
All right, let me try.
I don't even know what I'm
Let me
doing
try
now.
something else. Let me try something else. Hold on.
This is by the way, this is the worst
Worst podcast ever.
television ever produced.
All right. So
We're gonna IM each other for a while and see where it shows
Okay, see,
up.
I got that one
you got because
on my phone.
that one went to your phone number. The other one went to your email address.
Yes.
And they went to two different places.
Yes.
That doesn't seem right.
It's ridiculous. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Can you
They
guys?
have a
can
lot
you-
of work to do.
Can you? All right. What else?
AirPlay mirroring, which
Which
is, I think is
we
gonna
didn't
be
get a
awesome.
chance to test yet.
No, but
You got
so
a
they
demo,
showed
right?
me a pretty amazing demo, which was they're doing Game Center and GameKit.
Just to be clear, I could watch Hulu on.
Yeah, I was like, so can streaming services block this? And they're like, we can't figure out how they'll do it, and that was the answer. So
Oh,
I mean,
Apple.
it's literally they're just plugging.
So-
Can't
Adorable.
they make the player incompatible with AirPlay in some way?
So the way it works on the iPad is that AirPlay shows up as like HDMI out.
I mean, people are going to flip over that.
Yeah.
Well, but how
I
does
don't think-
wide-eye work? A wide-eye does the same thing, right?
Yeah, and like you can definitely plug a DVI cable into a Mac right now.
Yeah, but wide eye. This is Apple. I mean, how many wide eye users do you think there are in the
don't
country?
know.
16? 18? Will you use wide eye?
Accurate number.
Right. No, I'm sure it's like in the high teens. I'm just saying, like,
High teens.
yeah.
We're not talking 12 here.
No.
We're talking like 17 or 18.
18.
Yeah.
I'd say 17 or 18 sounds right. The sweet spot.
Wide eye users.
But like this is Apple. This is everybody with
I
a
think-
MacBook. Everybody with an Apple TV.
I think it'll be
Isn't that
fine.
many?
I don't think. I mean, they're all built in Flash, and Flash doesn't know that it's being piped out over HDMI. So
Not yet, but Adobe's going to find a way to.
Adobe will
that it
find a way to
does.
screw Apple.
And I am
Yeah.
excited in general for AirPlay to be better integrated with the Mac, just because almost any iPhone application pumps stuff to your Apple TV just perfectly and so easily. There are like two applications on the Mac that do right now. There's iTunes.
AirPlay is not flawless, though. I mean, I'll tell you that.
It's pretty magic.
No, so that's the thing. So they showed me this demo.
I mean,
And
it's okay.
if you've ever been in a hotel in New York, you know that there's no way that Wi-Fi works. So they showed me this demo, which was an iPad playing Real Racing 2 against somebody on a MacBook Air playing Real Racing 2. And the MacBook Air was streaming over AirPlay to a television, to an Apple TV. And I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, this is the greatest demo I've ever seen. This is awesome. Here's the
Were
dream.
they steering it by tilting
No,
the
they
air?
were doing the thing. Anyway, so and then it hits me that I've never been in a hotel in my life that has the sort of Wi-Fi capable of like supporting this.
Well, it's typically the
setup.
internet that doesn't work very well, right?
I don't know, man. It was great.
I have
They
seen-
had
I have-
clearly set
I'm
up
with
some
you.
sort
I
of
have seen-
insane Wi-Fi in that
I've seen
hotel.
100. I probably literally in my life have seen
This guy's seen it all.
30 to 40
Hey.
failed hotel Wi-Fi demos. So
Oh, yeah.
I know where you're coming from.
It's not supposed to work.
Right.
Like it's a
Right.
rule of the universe.
Still, I think that's awesome. You mentioned GameKit, so developers will be able to use similar tools that they're using on iOS.
Yeah, so they can
They can
do-
port games that they develop for iOS pretty simply.
I don't know
pretty
if
simply.
I don't know about the direct porting made simple, but
Well,
all
not direct porting,
all
but it's the same core technology, so
Yeah.
that you're going to be able to reuse a lot of code.
That's the part I actually don't know about. The
Well, if it's
reuse the
GameKit.
code. I'm assuming that you will, but the
Yeah.
GameKit stuff is more like you'll be able to plug right into Game Center. You'll be able to do matchmaking. You'll be able to build a multiplayer.
I also think the code is shared. So
I
a lot
think
of
I
it.
think they're building some of those APIs in there. I think we're gonna have to see how easy.
The
it
best
is.
part was that
I don't know.
Yeah, the best part was
I asked. They didn't say.
Okay.
It's interesting to hear Apple just talk about gaming at all.
Dude, they're like, we're ready for the resurgence of Mac.
Yeah,
we were on a call
they
later
said
with
something.
Josh.
They said something about we think this is going to be the resurgence of, or we're seeing a resurgence of gaming on the Mac, and I was like, really just for the first time though, isn't it?
You're right. GameKit is like just mostly the matchmaking and
Yeah, it's the pieces that make it work. And they're very serious about gaming on the Mac. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like 60% of the revenue out of the Mac App Store or something.
Oh, no,
is
no,
games.
look at the top.
There's already a lot on there that are like iOS games, like
Like every tower defense game ever made.
Well, no, who are those guys
I
that
hate
make all
tower.
those?
I hate tower defense games. I hate.
Then
them.
you gotta go
It's
arrows
really-
first.
Every time I see a game, it's like, oh, this looks awesome. It's got some like awesome looking promo image, and then it's like tower defense now with like in space, or tower defense in the desert, tower
those-
defense in medieval times.
Oh,
like
dude, tower defense in the desert.
it's like cool.
Wow.
It's tower defense.
Who are the people that make those like the ripoffs? Like Game Loft,
Game Loft?
Modern Combat Domination. Like that's
Is
like
it?
an iOS
It's a tower defense game, right?
game. it's a ripoff of Modern.
I don't
Call of
care.
Duty Modern Warfare.
That doesn't bother me because they're not making that stuff for the Mac. But of course, who's playing that? Who's playing that?
I'm saying it is on the Mac.
What is it called? No, their ripoff is on the Mac.
Right.
Is Call of Duty? Like
Yeah,
Call of Duty 2.
for Modern Warfare. Yeah, the first Modern Warfare.
Is it? Yeah. How many are there? There's like the third one just came
It's
out.
probably like a direct port of the Wii version or something.
It's like, how behind the times are you guys? Very behind the times. Anyhow, but yeah, there are a lot more games though. I mean, there's
Yeah.
no question. Like, there's a ton of games now for the Mac.
Yeah, they're as serious as you can be about it when you ship most of your machines.
Oh, they have Rage.
with integrated
How?
graphics.
I didn't know that.
I mean, I'm just saying it's how when most of your computers that you sell are laptops with integrated graphics, you can only be so serious.
Can we just
about
talk for a second about how the Rage download is 12 gigabytes?
it. That makes sense.
You downloaded it?
I have it on the iOS version.
Yeah, but it's not as big for iOS, is it?
Gig and a half or something.
Yeah, this is 12 gigs. 12. This is the full game.
Yeah.
Now this is Rage. I haven't played the full game. The version for iOS was on Rails, wasn't it?
But
This is not.
It's the best on Rails
No,
shooter
but
ever
this
in my
this
life.
game is not on
No,
Rails,
it's not,
correct?
it's not a Rails game.
Should I
No.
buy Rage? Is it good? I'm sick of these. I hate these like games where all you do is kill people. It's so boring.
Yeah. Let me just run through the rest of this stuff.
Sorry, I cannot stop
they-
interrupting you.
I know. They pulled out another. The rest of the stuff is like there's a bunch of stuff, right? They calendar. They renamed
you be more
iCal to
specific?
no. They made it so that if you are an iPad user, an iPhone user, and there are many more iPhone,
You won't be
and
scared
iPad,
off by
you
the
won't be
names
scared.
of things.
You'll show up and it'll be all the same stuff you're used to. So you show up, you log in with iCloud, it pulls down all of your preferences, you're ready to go. iCal has been renamed Calendar. Notes is now an app like it is on the iPhone. Reminders is its own app. Address Book is renamed Contacts. Like,
Right.
how dumb does Apple think people are? They show up like, I've had this iPhone and it
Very
has
dumb.
contacts.
Very
I
dumb.
feel like
But it's called the
Well,
Address
but it makes
Book on the
no, but it
back.
makes sense. Like getting taxonomy right is
Yeah.
a big deal. Like if you're calling it contacts in one place and address book in another, that doesn't make any sense. Like iCal, first off, is stupid anyhow.
Yeah.
Oh, iCal, it's the internet calendar. It's the intelligent calendar. Like what is it?
Yeah.
It's a calendar.
It's not particularly
I'm so
good.
angry. I've never been so angry about anything in my life.
I feel
How
like
dare
they're
you?
like they're maybe not even a full. I mean, usually when we get an early preview like this, there are still some, even if they do it on stage, there's still some surprises to come.
Yeah.
I feel like we're either this version or like the next version away from. I'm gonna make a really cool point, so I want you to listen this time.
Do I have to? I'm trying to find games that aren't tower defense games. on the App Store.
I know.
This thing is
we
just
all are all the
devil.
time, but this one's just so good.
Go
I
ahead.
want you to hear
I'm
it.
all ears. I'm focused on you.
Being able to do a Chromebook style login as a guest with your own account, and yeah, you don't have like your
I feel like they've
whole
abandoned
iPhoto
that
library.
whole concept.
I don't think so.
No,
I
but
think they're pulling back
think,
to it.
Think how easy this would be.
I'm
I'm gonna click.
They want
I'm gonna
two
click,
devices. They want you to have two devices.
I'm just gonna click log out, Paul Miller, and I click log out.
What are you doing? This isn't going to work.
I don't know. It's logging out.
What are you doing on your computer?
You're just logging.
I'm logging out my computer. Right?
Why-
So
why-
I
why are
I
you
log
doing
out,
that?
right?
Yeah.
And I click like guest user. So they like how they already have a Safari only guest user, which is exactly like
What's the point of this?
Chromebook. What I'm saying is that there would be another option, and you click log in with your iCloud username.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm in there. I'm Nilay Patel.
Yeah.
And I'm in there.
And you sound like a jerk.
And I'm iMessaging. I've got my iCal. I can access
You mean
mail.
you're messaging and you've got your
Sorry,
calendar.
I'm messaging, and I've got my
Your
calendar,
Address, wait, your contacts.
my
You've got,
address
you've
book,
got regular mail.
all my settings, like even the documents that are in iCloud, and some recent photos.
Yeah.
I just think it just makes a lot of sense.
I mean, what documents in iCloud?
No,
Well, they're-
so it
they're
makes a lot of
doing
sense.
some more stuff
but
with
it only makes a lot of sense if you believe that the future of the world is that people are wandering.
Yeah,
from
without a
workstation to
terminal. I
workstation.
just think that Apple doesn't want that. What they want
Well,
is
if
for
they
you
want
to
you to have
have
a
your
phone.
own iPad or iPhone or Mac or all three,
well, that's all three.
if at all possible.
Yeah, but they also want you to be able to benefit from their cloud, like in all sorts of situations.
I don't think that's true.
So I like edit a Pages doc on my because I have my phone and my tablet with me, but I really need to do some real work. You're like, can
But
I
they
borrow,
don't even
can I
support
borrow your
documents
computer?
in the cloud at this point. I mean, they have
Well,
some
that's what they're
weird.
doing with.
No, it's there.
It's
It's in there.
not-
They showed you some stuff with this, right?
Yeah, it's not in this build, but it's there. Like it's they're building it onto the open dialog. So like when you hit open, you get the regular stuff.
that whole idea is terrible. The
It's-
whole thing
it's
is
silly,
just
yeah.
awful. I mean, it's like just why don't you just mirror my documents somewhere and I can just pop them open when I go into my iCloud like interface.
Well, no, because they're doing all this live document editing. I see why they're trying to get away from like the Dropbox style. Here's a folder.
I understand that, but their style is like it's here, it's up there, it's back
I
down
really
there.
can't
It's
believe
never
you guys
really
don't see this
it's
as
never
a-
really
a
up here.
revolution.
They don't like things up here. They don't want them up here.
No, it's up there.
They want them to be up there for a moment And like
No, that's
when you need them
no,
to,
but
when
what
you
you're
need to
saying,
re-download them.
What
again.
you're saying is the Dropbox way. I don't think they're
Yeah.
doing that. I think
No, they are. That's like iPhoto. Like it's on your thing, and then it's up there, and then when you open your computer, it's back down there. But it isn't. They won't keep it in perpetuity in the cloud for you. They don't want your pictures to stay in the server.
The pictures are different.
No, it's
The documents, no, because that's the storage you get. The
Well,
picture, you get the 5 gigs.
I guess
of
they do with
iCloud
iTunes
for
Match.
free,
yeah.
right? And then you get the photos and the side.
That's just like storage.
Right, but that's the documents in the cloud.
Right, but there is no like interface to go get to them at this point. They have some weird convoluted way to like upload a document to the. I mean, I tried using
Yeah,
it.
it's weird and magical. You
It's-
don't really know.
Yeah.
They're gonna make it more obvious, right?
No, you can go to like the website.
I
and,
just-
download
I just think this
the
is-
Pages
You can.
document. Yes,
I
you
think
can.
this is pretty monumental.
That's
that
how you did it before Mountain Lion.
Apple has put this much of your operating system into the cloud. Like they've done it. Like Google cheated. They took a shortcut and did just the browser. Apple has a lot of your operating system in the cloud now.
I wouldn't say the operating system.
Well, a lot of the data that is driven
guess.
by that drives the standard
like
apps.
what
of
are
your-
they? Like what?
Your address book.
Okay.
Your
well, they have-
calendar.
Google has that.
Your
It's not
messaging.
cheat. They have all that stuff in the cloud.
Yeah, but it's all.
How do you access it?
browser.
Through a browser. Well, how else would you access
But
it?
Apple's letting you do it in a real regular
You're just saying they also have the desktop.
in
Yeah.
a desktop interface.
But the
yeah.
desktop. What do you mean?
And they have,
Gmail
like,
is as much a
pages.
desktop interface as iMail or mail.
iMail.
Gmail.
iMail.
Did they ever call it that?
No.
They should have. How do they do iCal and not iMail?
Has there never been an iMail? I recognize that name.
It's pretty stupid. if you
Okay,
think
so let's
about
move
it.
on to the last big feature.
I really wish we
which
would.
is Gatekeeper.
Yeah, Gatekeeper. That's a big one. It
And
actually doesn't seem that big to me.
it is and it isn't.
Well, I mean, it's either you can use it or you don't have to.
Yeah.
That's the big deal.
So it's Mountain Lion will ship out of the box with a new setting that only apps from the Mac App Store and apps that have been signed by developers can run.
Sure to be nightmarish for all developers.
I think they're unless you're paying the $99 to be in the developer program, then in which case it's like push a button, sign up, sign your app, like you're good to
Right,
go.
right.
And I would imagine most Mac developers are in the program.
I mean, how do you not? Can't you? How do you even? Don't you have to be?
To get most of the features out. But I will say, apparently to be in Notification Center, to like use those APIs, you have
Yeah.
to be in the App Store.
Yeah.
So there's, which I imagine, like if you can just do whatever you want, like you can probably hack your way into Notification Center.
I don't know. I'll say this. I don't like it. Ultimately,
Why is that?
I don't know. I mean,
Why don't
the
you
app
like
Store,
it?
the
They
app
have
Store's
all the
great.
options.
The App Store is great. Well, to use notifications, you have to be in the App Store. But what if you want to make an app that you don't want to put in the App Store? Then you can't use notifications. So you stuck
Yeah.
with Growl. I mean, I'll be using Growl anyhow.
What about
I'll be using the
signed-
old version
What about
of
a
Growl
signed
till-
app? Can a signed app use that?
It's unclear right now.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I mean,
I'm sure we'll find out. So, but Apple's
that's
big
like,
thing.
But that's. Do you see how screwed up that is? That's like a basic. They're building in like basic functionality to the system, and then they're saying like, if you want to use the basic functionality we built into our OS, you need to sell your stuff through our store. Like that is actually really messed up when you think about it.
but
like that's like
we have to
building in-
confirm
that's
that.
like
You can
the
always
only
use
place,
Growl.
If
the
that's
only
always use
place I've
Growl.
seen that,
Okay,
the
if that's the
one
case.
place, the
You
one,
always use Growl.
the
No, but
single
you-
source of that information
That's
right
not my
now
point.
is John Gruber.
Okay,
And
well,
he's
John,
usually pretty
John
right
Gruber
about that
likes
stuff.
to be right, as we established on our
Yeah.
show. So I would assume that he's correct. But like that,
But
is-
it could change.
But we should be upset about that, and we should not.
If it happens.
I don't think developers should accept that. And I don't think we should accept it as people who want people to do what they want
Right.
for free
Wow.
all the time.
Wow.
No,
Radical
You just
socialism.
use Growl.
no, you don't understand.
Growl sucks.
You
I know-
understand. You
I know
understand.
what you're saying.
Them
I know what
building
you're
in
saying. I
notifications
get
is
it. I
like
get it. I
we've
get it.
introduced the dock, but you can't be in the dock unless you sell your stuff through the App Store. I think that is bullshit. I'm sorry. Like,
Well,
I-
we should figure it out, but then we can be pissed about it.
But if I'm saying if Gruber's right, I'm not pissed about it if he's wrong.
Yeah.
And I hope he is. No, but he's right. That's what I'm saying a lot. He loves being right. He told us.
Yeah.
I think that's a really bad policy.
You know, the reason I didn't ask about it
This
because
is not,
it didn't make
these
any,
aren't-
like it
these
didn't
aren't-
even occur
these
to me.
aren't,
that-
these aren't iPhones.
Right.
You know, they're computers, and there is a difference. There is a real difference. I mean, I know that window is it's changing, but also for developers, I mean, this has always been a place where
Yeah.
you can write an app, you can sell it or put it online for free.
And so they're
I,
into all
as a user, can go download it. And as far as I know, there's never been an instance. I mean, somebody will correct me on this, I'm sure, where Apple like barred people from using like a fundamental piece of the OS. Something as I would equate Notification Center with
Well,
with being able to put a menu bar item.
there's already a
or
lot of
something.
rules for how the apps work if you're going to sell them through the Mac app.
No, that's fine because you're agreeing to you. Apple is saying we have these stringent requirements or whatever. That's fine. But they're also there's nothing stopping me from tapping in, as far as I know, as a developer, from tapping into any core part of the OS that I can utilize as a developer right now.
iCloud, right?
Well, there are rules to iCloud, but what Josh is saying is if you want to do something
But
crazy on
iCloud
the
is
Mac, you can
iCloud is
still
a
do it.
service that you use that's not really part of the OS necessarily.
Well, just getting there.
I'm saying that the notifications are along the lines of like a menu bar item or being able to place something in the dock or
It does seem like an arbitrary.
or make a dashboard widget, or be able to, I don't know. There's a variety of things here, but I'm just saying it's like a place where you would imagine it would be plug into this. Here's our API.
Yeah.
You can issue notifications. It's a new feature of Mac OS, which
No.
it is.
Right.
And if you can't freely use that, if that is somehow set aside by this having to be allowed into the App Store to make because we know that apps I'm sorry, I won't use the new version of Growl. It's not as good because of whatever requirements Apple is putting on the developer. The older version of Growl is better. It works better. And I think
great
it's
for me.
I don't it doesn't work for me properly.
I think it's a mess.
You got roll.
It's a mess. Anyhow, the point is, let's roll up. Oh, that's Growl style.
It groups everything together.
It's
If
a
you're-
notification center in a
If
window.
if you're away from the computer for a little while, Growl starts to group all your notifications together in a little thing, so that when you come back, you can.
It's just an add-on for Growl.
It's part of Growl.
It's called Roll Up.
Yeah, it's part of the new version of Growl that came out with the App
Oh,
Store.
well, yeah, that's the problem. That one didn't work for me properly. Its notifications were a total mess.
It
Did you
worked fine
experience
for me.
this?
yeah.
Yeah. Other people have said it too. I think Thomas Ricker has talked
I think
about
you're
it.
making this up.
I'm not making it up. The point is, I'm not gonna.
Although, dude, we just did a 5 minutes on the Verge with the Growl guy, and you definitely should read that. But
Yeah.
kind of sucks to be the Growl guy right now.
Yeah. Oh, it does suck. You mean because Apple stole his idea?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean-
they did.
they brought notifications.
you don't-
to their
you don't get,
desktop
like,
OS.
No, they stole the Growl idea. They're
I mean-
little pop-up windows that give you floating notifications.
But
I mean, it's
floating
exactly.
notifications, were originally on Windows. That's
Yeah.
kind of where the Growl idea
He-
comes from.
By the way, I
Growl
will say,
stole-
can I say that
ripped
I
off
love the many comments on our piece were they stole Windows XP notifications.
Yeah, which is funny, but
Yeah.
it did in a way. But
I mean,
they really
Apple has
stole
every
Growl
right to do
stealing
it. It
Yeah.
just kind of sucks.
I mean, whatever. Just he's a small developer. That's the thing that sucks.
Well, it's
He's
fine.
not.
You do
You know
like
what?
five.
They stole from Microsoft. Boo-hoo for Microsoft. If Microsoft stole something from them, which they definitely did, boo-hoo for Apple. But the Growl guy,
Yeah.
who is an independent developer who's been refining this service for ages.
that almost a large number of Mac. users
Everybody
use.
uses it. Everybody I know uses Growl.
Yeah.
They should give him
They should just
$100 million.
Well, didn't they hire the guy that they stole the notification center idea for the iOS?
Yeah. I'm sure they'll end up
They did.
hiring a Growl guy. I mean, that's just what they do.
Maybe.
Look, back to Gatekeeper. The whole point of this, we have to wrap up this
favorite- my
conversation.
favorite.
We got to wrap up all the conversations. I'm making this an early one. I got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow.
No, it's just,
Do you have anything else to talk about, by the
it's
way?
getting
after
really
this?
loud out there. Bro.
Yeah, it is really loud. Everybody's having a party, and we're in here.
Just
hot.
podcasting
It's hot.
away.
We're having our own kind of
Just
party.
shoveling
with
the
you,
shoveling
the viewer
podcast
and or
coal
listener.
into
Yeah.
the
Paul,
furnace.
Paul keeps holding
the
my
podcast
hand.
furnace.
and texting me weird stuff.
That's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's
Anyhow,
normal.
go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, their whole thing with the Gatekeeper, and it depends how much you believe them, is that they're just trying to prevent people from having malware, right? That if you download an app from the web and your computer's set up
Which,
right,
as we know, has been rampant on the
Yeah.
on the Mac OS.
but
So much
that's what they're
malware.
saying.
Well, but you know what? It's
Well,
they're
it's something that they
they're
got to
the-
worry about as they get more popular.
They're the leader now. They're the big guy. They
Right.
gotta defend
So
against that.
I think we'll see. We'll see exactly what the restrictions are between all of these things in the next few months.
Right.
I think we're going to hear a lot about Gatekeeper, and we're going to hear a lot of developers say whether or not they're going to use it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they put it out so early.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think people have to get time.
I mean
to
that
plug
and
into
totally boning Microsoft at every
this.
opportunity.
Yeah, that's true. Though I'm surprised they didn't wait till the 28th.
The 29th.
What? No. But the 29th was the 29th is the day that Microsoft's doing it.
Yeah.
It would be better to do it the day before.
Right.
so that everybody's still talking.
Yeah, and maybe have people come out for meetings, or have to come to New York for meetings. So like, you know, if my
Or you go to Florida, so it's a
so
pure
like,
diagonal.
yeah. So it's like really far away from getting to Redmond. Anyhow, what else is there? I mean, we should talk about what else should we talk about? And I'll say is in the comments of your Mountain Lion piece, somebody pointed out something that somehow I hadn't really noticed. But did they in Windows 8 in the Windows environment?
No, the arrow square, the squared arrow.
I
don't know.
The square.
These people know.
What are you talking about?
The window. The
Somebody
Windows,
posted a screenshot of arrow, but it's like squared off.
Yeah, squared arrow. It's like, you know how they have rounded edges in arrow? Arrow, AERO.
Oh, yeah.
But it looked really good to me. And I have to say, like, the new start button, like, I don't know. It kind of looks good to me. And you know, I am.
All Josh needs is a sexy start button. He's there.
Yeah.
Get a sexy start button in my face, and you don't know what's going to happen. But I will say this, like, I am. You know, if Microsoft could really streamline Windows, like really clean up a lot of like I believe like, I think they have like they're over notifying users. And that's one of my biggest all-time gripes with Windows is that it just like over notifies and just like their stuff is just overly complicated. It's like that ribbon. It's like that post that Sanofsky did about how many new ribbon options.
Can I just say,
like
by the way?
that's my gripe about Windows. It's like it should be simpler and it's not.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, you know, if like you think that I'm dumb for saying that, but I get a ton of stuff done in the Mac OS, and it feels more streamlined to me. But like I do think that it does look a little bit more stripped down, which I like. And if they square those windows, it could be a whole new era.
I've been having so many insane slowdown problems on my Mac that are mostly related to Flash. But you know, it's like I would love
That's
to
so terrible.
go Flash free. You know, who wouldn't? But that's just not a really realistic thing. And I don't have these slowdowns on Windows, and it's just like it's getting to the point where, you know, every time I have like 10 or more tabs open, I just like can't use my computer anymore. And
What is wrong with your computer?
I don't. It's just,
You know, I have to
although
say,
I gotta
gotta
say, you have a bad touch, though. We know that you have like a bad electrical.
I do
signal that you send to
have a
your
really
machines.
bad touch.
I mean, I will say that I've been using Mountain Lion on the Air they
Right.
gave us, so it was preloaded. And then I switched back to Snow Leopard on my gigantic 15-inch MacBook Pro.
Yeah, you never went live.
It was kind of like just stepping into the past.
Yeah. Well,
Like
just
this like tiny computer with this like brand new OS, and then it's like
so I'm an OS 10 developer, and I have Mountain Lion on here, and I haven't done anything, but everything has been like running really smoothly today, at least. But you know, something's gonna go wrong, and it just locks up, and it's so. There's nothing more frustrating, and it's been frustrating
You know
for
what
like
you gotta do.
for like decades of my life
you
using
gotta-
computers, and they lock up, and they just
gotta-
stop doing stuff for a while.
you gotta get an SSD in there, man.
I have an SSD.
Really?
Yes.
I've stopped having those problems.
I think
Really bad.
I just think that Paul has a bad energy when it comes to machines.
Yeah.
And I think he doesn't have good rhythm with them.
Yeah.
And I think that it leads to him breaking them a lot.
I'm just so fast.
He's
so fast.
I don't know. It's not about fast. You know, it's not about. I've talked about my theory before. I'm sure.
Yeah.
You're like,
Really?
yeah.
I know that you have.
We've heard of, I have a theory that there are. I think that it's not a spiritual thing, okay? But
Right.
I think that machines. I think that certain users are good with machines and certain users are bad with machines. And I also think
Right.
that when you use a machine for a while, I don't mean you, but a person, that it gets kind of used to the user, and that the user gets used to the machine, and that there are, you know, every machine has its like, you know, millisecond pauses or stops and starts, things that you notice like when you use a computer
Right.
for a long time. And I think that, you know, depending on the person, I think that you can miss some of those cues, and that can cause a machine to be less responsive. And I think that it's a kind of a dance, knowing.
It's a dance.
I mean, I'm sure the people who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking
It's a
about.
dance, and I never heard the song.
It's a dance, and you're not listening for the bridge.
Oh, the bridge.
Maybe a bridge. You would know because you're not paying attention. Too
What
busy.
would the bridge have to do with anything?
Well, the bridge is like, you know, it's like it's like
I mean, if you're gonna have a dance step, it's the same count the whole time.
maybe the bridge is in like 3/4 or something.
Why
You don't
would
know.
they do that?
Maybe maybe your computer's a math rock band.
Oh God.
You know, the bridge is
I
in
never
like,
even considered
the bridge is
that.
in like 5/9.
I never even considered.
You weren't
that.
even thinking about
Yeah.
it. The point is, You gotta
that would
listen to the sweet music of your computer, and then you gotta dance to it.
You know what? And I don't.
Exactly.
I don't
You're-
customize things. I don't like bash. I do. I just like bash my head against it. I just go straight forward and do exactly how I want to do it. I don't customize my experience. I don't try to like pander to the operating system.
You got to pander. The operating
Yeah.
system
I don't wanna
needs you.
pander.
It needs you.
It
to
should be
You
learn.
don't pander to
It
the
doesn't. It
operating
can't
system.
do that yet.
You have Growl. You
That's
install
what-
the customization. You use Sparrow. It's a customization.
Well,
not-
not
Sparrow's
really.
not a-
Sparrow's not. It's an app.
But it's not the default app. You're like, I don't install things and customize things. You're not using the
I think
default.
what he's saying is he doesn't care how the computer feels, and that's part of the problem. As a guy who loves robots, you think he would take a little more time to.
I mean, I will
really-
say that while we've been
No, the
having
whole
this
point-
conversation,
the whole point of a
Paul has
robot-
just been doing trackpad moves.
Yeah.
Just like swiping
Well,
like a madman.
So this is something that was freezing up in line all the time. Is when I'd go to mission control.
Is this Mountain Lion?
Yeah, the first time in Lion, and the first time in 10 or 15 minutes that you use mission control, it's like frozen for a little while till it does it.
How are you enjoying it? Sorry, I guess you want
Yeah.
me to be in front of the mic for that, don't you? So how are you enjoying Mountain Lion otherwise? Because we
I
heard
like
from
it.
Eli, but
I like it.
should I do it? I don't. I have a thing.
I mean,
This
are
is
you
a-
develop? I'm a developer. I've been developing apps.
I'm a developer. I'm making an app. It's called. I don't want to tell you what it's called. It's
I'm
very
learning how to code.
But
By the
I used to have
big
a
nerd
policy, and
ranch
I've actually largely stuck to this policy, except for I think recently with Lion,
Right.
which I regretted.
You always wait.
I always wait until
never wait.
I wait till like the first update because there's always stuff that breaks. There's always weird stuff, and since this is my production machine, this is what I use to work. I don't really feel like risking it by
yeah.
like.
No, I was
taking
in
a
the
beta
meeting
update.
and I was like looking at all the stuff and they showed me AirPlay, and like under my breath I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to upgrade to Lion, and I got this look like from them and I was
Yeah.
like, but no, this is my work machine, and they're like, They were very unhappy.
I actually really miss Snow Leopard,
I'm, like,
and I
juking.
wish I could go back.
This is cool.
You're just seriously just doing trackpad moves, man. Just
There are some things
do you do anything all day long?
happening. No, he told me today he was like coding. I'm sure it's research for a feature, but the point is, oh wait, is it? Oh no, Friday. I was gonna say today's your day off, but it's not. I have no idea what I was going to say, and I think it means it's time to wrap up.
It's
Is there,
probably
any,
time to wrap
is there any other news that happened this week that we need to talk about? Creighton, do you know?
No, I looked for something.
Jordan, anything else happened this week that we need to talk about?
So let's see what the people want us to.
Oh yeah, go in there.
People.
I forgot all about these humans.
The people.
Can we just up and take a call?
No,
No.
Wait, it's not hooked up. We can't take a call.
we need to prep it beforehand.
Man, you guys never have the call ready for us here. We wanted, you know what, guys? We wanted to take.
We're
live.
so ready for Collins.
We wanted to take live calls, but Creighton DeSimone wouldn't let us. That's his real name, by the way. I wish I was making it up, but I'm not.
Yeah.
He was like, "What? What do you mean you wish you were waking it up?" Anyhow, all right. That's
Nobody has
gonna,
any questions.
No, nothing, man.
I mean, really? You want to talk about the 32 gig Galaxy Nexus? You got to do better than that.
Yeah, it's lame. I'm wearing the
Note.
Note. Oh, the Galaxy Note that came out.
Oh, the
It's
iOS address book stuff.
I don't want to talk about that.
No.
I'm sorry. It's bad.
What's the address book controversy?
It's
People
like-
are
it's
uploading
stupid.
their address books left
Apple
or
will
right.
change it.
Half
They've already promised to
half-
change
Oh,
it.
actually, I would
Half
like to say
paid-
one thing really
Half
quickly.
sold your information.
I
on
would
the
like to say
black
one thing really quickly. So today in the New York Times, there was a report about the address book controversy, and VentureBeat, we published a thing almost exactly the same time as VentureBeat that was like they had their take on the apps that do it, and we had our take on apps that do it. But there is a thing that's being conflated in these articles, not ours, that is being conflated that I think is a really important distinction. People are saying like other applications like Instagram and Facebook and blah 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 also take your contacts. Okay, when you tell an app, when it says find your friends and you like do that, it doesn't explicitly say what it's doing, but there is no other way. I mean, there are ways that you can encrypt it, you can hash the data, and there's a couple of things they actually mentioned in VentureBeat, and we also mentioned in our article. But when you agree to let it look at your address book, you're agreeing to let it look at your address book, and the app doesn't do it on the device because it can't match your address book on the device. It has to match it on its servers.
So otherwise, it would have to pull down all
these
of
apps,
everybody else's contact info into
your device, which of course would be insane, and also a gigantic amount of addresses.
And also,
I had like a huge,
but I think
a much bigger privacy issue.
I think it's really important to make this distinction. Most apps that we looked at, and Dieter looked at, he went through dozens and dozens of apps. They say something about it. They ask you, or you tell it to look at your contacts. That's really different than what Path did. What Path did was it took your contacts as soon as you signed into the app, without asking, without telling you, without ever telling you about it. So there's a big difference between saying find my friends and it just finding your friends for you. And that's something that I feel like has been glossed over. The New York Times glossed over today. And I feel like it's important to not gloss over that detail, because that detail is quite important. I'm not going to throw Instagram or whoever it was under the bus, because I know that they actually request, in a way, they request access to my address book. If you don't know that's what they're doing, then that's a user problem. You should know that that's the only way they can do it. I mean, they can hash it. But the problem with that is, as Dieter pointed out, and as I will second, is that you don't want to put the responsibility on the developer. The responsibility is on Apple.
It's totally
the functionality to do it should have been you can do this if you hash it so that all of the data is sent anonymously, and it's anonymous data. That's what you need if you're going to do it, and they just didn't.
Anonymous data that is full of contact information with names.
It wouldn't be no, but it wouldn't be. It would be strings essentially. You read the article.
Yeah.
Dieter spent a lot of time.
Yeah, and
Maybe you ought to
Apple,
think about
but
reading
Apple
it.
already promised they're going to.
No, Apple said
So
they're
it's
going to. Apple said they're going to deal with it, which is what else can you do at this point?
Right.
Don't use Path if you're angry about it.
But what's crazy is that if you have a Mac or a Windows machine, every app on your system can do any damn thing it wants.
Yeah,
Can I just say that there is an aspect of this? I maybe I'm an exception, but I don't get really pissed at this sort of thing. I mean, if there was a developer out there that was doing really bad things with people's information, I might get pissed.
Well, that's the fear, isn't it?
That's the fear. But I think there's a lot of it that people are just looking for blood in the water, and they're going. People want a sensational privacy story all the time. That by people I mean journalists,
right?
Are looking
I'm looking for one right now.
A story to just
You've got one. Email me.
Paul Miller defends.
Freak out about, because they know there's just a lot of traffic, and they could put big scary headlines up, and they love to
Breaking.
You know what's
You're describing the Verge, right?
You know that the story we did about these webcams.
Oh, yeah, the webcam
that are publicly accessible. Yeah. It's scary. People should be told about.
Yeah, I saw.
But those are they end up being picked up by publications that it's this
the BBC.
Yeah. Or it's this old school. You want this
the
evening news hour that's designed to scare.
Well, yeah, Katie.
It's an old school.
The writer who did that
model.
actually went on Fox, and it was that kind of story.
Oh, it was amazing.
It
was an amazing video.
It was do you own any camera at all? Your kids might be.
Yeah.
Getting sold into slavery right now.
No, they erase all the subtleties just so they can amp it up into the scariest story possible. And I think that happened a little bit with Path, and I want people to be wary.
So no, I mean, but that's part of
privacy is important.
No, but that's part of what I'm talking about, which is you can't conflate facts. And because it does make it a more sensational thing. Path isn't the only one. Lots of other people are doing it. Your favorite apps are taking your contacts, and it's yeah, but you told them to do it. Right. And that's the big difference. It's it's a short walk, but that walk is really important.
Right.
And I agree with you. And we tried to cover it in. I wanted to be responsible, and I think Dieter did a really good job of being thorough with that stuff.
Right.
And not that VentureBeat's article is really excellent as well. But our goal was to technically look at it, how does this work, and exactly what is being asked for, and how does a user encounter it, and that sort of thing. And it is hard sometimes, though. These stories. I mean, I think we should be concerned about privacy. I think that when you have a dominant force in our world that thinks that your online identity should be 100% you at all times, and almost I'm talking about Facebook, by the way. When you have this attitude that you're in some ways not entitled, you're as entitled to the privacy of that you would get like walking down the street or something like online, which
Did
is
I
not,
lie about my name in real life?
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
You do.
I say my name is Neil every time
Neil
I book a restaurant
Patel.
because it's easier.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with it,
You
man.
say Chris?
Yeah, Creighton Press says Chris.
I did
mean,
used to.
Wait, what? You actually do that?
I don't.
Neil-
do I need
Neil
to
Patel.
spell my name to every hostess at every restaurant in New York City?
Yes.
No, I'm Neil, man. Sit me the hell down. Are you kidding me?
I'm Neil sitting the hell down. And Chris, really, Creighton?
Chris Densmore.
I used to.
Wait, Chris what?
Chris
Densmore.
Densmore is the common version. Chris.
Wait, Densmore is easier.
That's in John Densmore.
What? At least Patel, it's like, hi, I'm your local doctor.
Are you a
right?
Patel?
Like, Neil Patel is
You use Patel.
yeah, because it's probably like you
I
know
bet people
somebody.
see through that all the time. They're like,
What? No, you're really an Eli.
This guy's name is Neil. There was a period where I was giving people Smith as my last name at restaurants.
Oh, that's terrible.
But I would tell them it was Smith with 2 T's.
Well, you
which
did
left
this
them
for
often
real. You did
quite confused. Right?
Joshua Ryan
Well, I did when I DJ'd. Yeah, I was Joshua Ryan.
Yeah.
Because
of rampant racism in the
DJ industry.
community. Just racism left and right.
well, Rampant. I was actually on a label called Rampant. That's what I thought you were talking about for a second. Yeah, it's like an LA-based label. But
I've never given
what's
a
the
fake name.
what is the racism thing?
Well,
Yeah.
Topolsky sounds some sort of ethnic.
Yeah, because it's some sort of ethnic.
Like I don't know which
It's
one.
Eastern European. It's
Yeah.
Russian, like Ukrainian Russian, something or other. I mean, that border.
And I
moved
can't
a lot.
stand those Ukrainian Russian-ish people.
Russian-ish. Yeah, Topolsky on a rave flyer? I don't think so. That's not really. That wasn't a conversation I wanted to have. Let's
Right.
put it that way. Oh, okay. So what's your DJ name? Oh, it's DJ Joshua Topolsky. To what? You know what? I'm just gonna
Yeah.
go. I don't need to play the show. Actually,
Imagine me trying to book a table at any restaurant ever. Hi, I'm Eli. What? How do you? Eli? Yes.
Yeah, you know what?
My parents named me Eli.
So
You
we
know,
came up
I'm not
with.
gonna get a lot of sympathy from you guys, but I actually
No,
have,
Paul Miller, you're not.
Wait, I want
I-
to see where this is going.
I have trouble saying the word Paul.
Hold on.
It's
What?
no. Did you hear
That
it
is
just
like
now?
the ultimate
I
Paul
seriously-
Miller statement.
I just want to make sure everybody is getting this out there. Raised with the name Paul
It's difficult.
in America
It's a difficult word for me.
has trouble saying the name Paul.
You should say Paul.
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 Paul. It's hard for me to. It's the L is really hard to say. I
Oh my
swallow it a lot,
God.
and
Is
people
this
ask me
a-
to repeat it a lot.
Is this?
It's a
Am I on?
joke,
Am I on
yeah.
candid camera? What is going on? Is this a some kind
Also, Paul rhymes with a lot of things, so I think I hear my name often. People say like, "Hey, where's the ball?" And I think they're talking to me.
Where's the Paul? Hold on a second. I was going to say that we have our non-ethnic names, which are Niles Patels. Which is everything. And yours is just Paul Miller because you're Paul
Right.
Miller, and mine is what?
Jake Tapper.
Jake Topper.
Yeah.
Jake Topper. But somebody just said, "What's Paul's ethnic name?" Which I think should. What would it be? Well, we know the first name is going to be Paul because it's hard for him to say. So it's Paul something.
Right.
What could it be? This is your chance to be wildly racist, probably. You know what? Let's just think of it offline,
Yeah,
and then
let's put that in
All
common.
right, we should wrap this up.
Can I say one thing? We had one more question.
Paolo. Somebody said Paolo Milowski. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Well, the Spanish for Paul is Pablo.
Wait, somebody just said they love me, like really emphatically. I love you too,
Yeah.
stranger in our chat room.
Yeah.
So nice of you. Really touching. Pablo,
I wanna-
Pablo is good though, I think.
Can I just say one more thing? Because somebody asked a question before all of this. Stuff.
Yeah, before this ridiculous, horrible
and
conversation.
they asked talk about the actual like Apple presentation, and I think that's coming out of like Gruber wrote this whole thing about keynotes for one, and I just like if we're gonna we had this little meta journalism
Did you get a
conversation.
keynote for one, Eli?
I did, but I get those from every company all the time.
Yeah,
I mean that's a press
That's
briefing.
that's a press briefing.
That's
a
going
briefing.
like
Yeah.
HP gives them, Nikon gives them, like
We-
every company
we-
sits you down, shows you slides, and then gives you a product.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
and we have embargoes on our site every week for everything. Like that's
Sorry.
just how the industry works.
It's true. I
It's
mean-
funny to me that like this app. Apple's shocking thing that they did with Mountain Lion was they did the thing that everybody else does all the time.
I mean, I will say this. What's different is
Except for Microsoft and their inability to sit anybody down and tell them everything about their operating system.
well that.
no, come to
You have,
Mix.
what do you have?
Come
2
to
days?
build.
You have 2 days.
Yeah, you got to come to Vegas for 4 days.
But I don't know what's going on in this chat. I should never ever look at it when we're talking.
Yeah.
Apple's done meetings like that many times.
It's just crazy to me that this is being overhyped. That they're doing this thing.
Well, it is being overhyped because
It's totally normal.
So Phil Schiller said to Gruber,
We go to meetings all week
Phil Schiller
long.
said to Gruber, we're doing things a little differently, and I think what is different here is how big
the product is.
how big the product is, and that is notable.
Yeah.
And I think there's a number of reasons, but I think what we have to recognize is that Apple's release schedule is getting way tighter.
Yeah.
Like they have a lot of products now, and like those products are really like wide ranging.
Yeah.
It's not just like we have a computer and a laptop and we're gonna make some MP3 players.
Well,
Yeah.
what's also it's weird to me is that to do a yearly release cycle, like this is like are putting more developers into this.
Yeah, they said
like,
they're
I
stacking
think
up
that's
higher.
awesome.
Like
I think
so
that's the
that
best.
Apple is spending more money and more development hours on this and a tighter, more aggressive release schedule and putting a lot of features in this operating system, doing it every year.
Right.
And also making less of a deal about it because it's, to be honest, it's a less relevant product.
But I also think it's like
The only thing that's cutting,
I also think
the
it's
only
modern.
thing competing with their Mac sales is their iPad.
But I think it's a modern way of thinking about this. Like our developers, they're an agile shop. They work in these cycles. They iterate very quickly. It's an iterative process where you're like, we're not going to finish everything all at once and then be like, here it is. And I think
Right.
I feel like Apple has been either doing that or is moving towards that kind of like, update, iterate, update, keep moving.
Well, and I think it's so smart, and especially if they can get. If you look at reminders coming to the Mac and iMessage, not that far off from iOS 5, but it seems like the dream would be for them to come out at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Well, that's what I was going to say about this.
if they
is
got
that
in sync, it would be pretty ridiculous.
I think there's another shift that's happening here, which is they've always announced and given out new versions of iOS early, right? And they've done it at events, maybe the beginning, but lately it's been like, well, here's a new version, and the big splash is the new devices.
Yeah.
And I think Apple wants to focus on device. They're not calling it Mac OS 10 anymore; they're just calling it OS 10.
Right.
And I think they're saving the Mac name for the actual hardware.
Well, these
Right.
and these
Maybe.
operating systems are just going to get closer and closer together, and they're going to
Yeah, they're on. Chris Sigler.
benefit from each
mean,
other.
When I was
can
telling
see
him
them-
about it last night, he was like, iOS and OS 10, they're on a collision course. It's like
it's
obvious.
awesome.
Like there's no doubt.
It's
that-
good
Well,
thing.
I mean, what else would they do?
Right.
I mean, what else would they do?
Well, and it makes. I mean,
I
think
think the tightrope for them is how there's a lot. I mean, when I really need to do things, iPad is no help to me.
No, it's useless.
No help to me. I mean, and neither is
she's got a Windows 8 tablet.
neither is an Android tablet. Well, I mean, I will say that is one of.
I have this dream though.
I mean, I don't need Office, but there are things I need.
What is this?
I don't know what that was.
Say your own name, Paul. See if you can do it.
Have you seen that's it's the U Jelly Arms.
Paul.
Paul.
Paul. That was actually one of my better ones.
It actually sounded a little weird.
One of my better
That
ones.
sounded a little weird when you said it. Say it again.
Paul.
What does one of your bad
he's
ones
not,
sound like?
He's not that
My
good at
bad
saying
ones are
it,
like
I'll be honest with
Paul,
you.
and I can't hold on to the L.
Are you
And then
what?
people
Are you-
ask
are
me
you-
what.
Are you just?
It happens all the time. They don't know what I'm saying.
I want you to be honest with me, and there's no judgments can be made here. Are you on any type of drugs, like hardcore,
Oh my
like
God.
psychedelic? Did you smoke any weed today?
No.
Did you take any black beauties or?
Paul.
I don't know what a black booty.
I think it's some kind of speed from the 70s.
Paul.
It's like prescription speed or something.
Where do you put your emphasis? It's only one syllable, I know, but Paul.
Somebody wants to know
Paul.
if you're on robot drugs. Are you on any robot drugs? I don't. What would that be? That's like, what is that? That isn't anything.
Yeah.
You can't even think of a robot drug. That's how advanced robots are. Okay.
It's like DC electric.
Really should wrap up. Do you think they'll drop Mac altogether?
No.
Just
I
call
think
it
it'll
the
be
Air,
these.
the Apple Air.
No, I think these will be Macs.
Why?
Just like the phone is an iPhone. That's like saying, they just call it the Apple iOS. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it's different.
How
This
is it
has a
different?
name. This has a second name. This one, for instance, the Air.
we think the iPad 2 or the iPad HD or whatever comes out.
called
The
HD.
iPhone 4S. Yeah, I mean it's all the same. There's a family
yeah.
name and there's a
I don't know. I
device
don't even
name.
know why I said that.
Yeah. No, I think these are
It's
going
a
to be
stupid
Macs.
idea.
You think they're going to get rid of the iMac, which is like the most like,
Idiot.
get out of here. Topper.
Yeah, they're going to sell a TV in place of the iMac. You'd be like, you can get a 23-inch television, a 27-inch television,
That would be horrible.
or a 42-inch
Yeah.
iMac. they're gonna make two small TVs and one gigantic iMac with a huge keyboard like this big.
Paul.
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 All right, let's wrap this up.
That didn't sound good. Well, that's the Vergecast for the week. If, as always, you can get in touch with us by emailing podcasts at is it podcast or casts?
Podcast.
Casts.
That sounds like some crazy Chad trip.
I don't know.
that
I just
wasn't
had like
part
a
of it.
weird. I just had like a weird
Yeah.
momentary lapse of like.
By the way,
memory there.
My favorite ethnic name someone came up for me was Paul Hitler.
That's terrible, Paul.
I know, it's pretty bad.
That's not your
No, I
favorite.
saw that.
That's your
Podcast
It's
at
pretty- it's a
podcast
good
at
joke.
at theverge.com. And you can also Paulcast. Somebody said, but somebody said Paulcast. You can also leave a comment for us. God, I am out of it. You can leave a comment for us when the post goes up, or you can find us on Twitter. I'm Joshua Topolsky. Paul is Future Paul. Nilay Future Paul. However you say
Paul.
it. Nilay is Reckless, and of course, you can.
The Verge is the Verge. I
Thank
think is
you.
the one that you're missing.
Yeah, it's The Verge is actually at Verge.
Yeah.
Not The Verge. The Verge at The Verge is a Canadian XM station.
Yeah. Only the best and alternative hits.
Who, by the way, I asked if they would swap, change their name because first off, I'd say 60 to 70% of people tweeting at them are tweeting at us. And their name doesn't now at this point. I mean, it just doesn't really describe what they're doing. They should be like The Verge XM or something because that's actually more descriptive. Anyhow, long and short is they didn't respond to my email. So if you like getting tweets about technology, then that's fine. If you don't want to get tweets about your Canadian rock stars, who am I to stop you?
Okay, so I don't get it. You're iMessaging me from your Mac to my Mac, but you're getting notifications on your Mac and your phone,
And
but
that
I just get it on
is-
my Mac.
and
I
that
don't
is-
understand.
And that is the Vergecast for this week. We'll be back next week with more wonderful, great content like the kind you just experienced. And until that, I wish you and yours the very best of times.
Paul.
Rock and roll.
Paul.